Assalamu alaikum Nazreen, this is Usama Khurshid with program State Affairs. Today we will talk about the OIC summit being called by the Turkey, and Turkey is leading that summit into the capital. The reason of this summit, we will discuss it later, as we know that the embassy of the United States of America has been opened in Jerusalem. So overall, the summit is that how the Muslim world is united and how the efforts can be put for the Muslim world. Let me tell you that there are of only these few organizations who enjoy the liberty of entertaining on the base of religion and socio-politics simultaneously. Islam is the religion of 57 states of the world, with some already being the members of the United Nations. The organizations cannot be progressed disregarded because of its relevance with the current state of the most of the Islamic world. The members of this organization include both smaller and bigger states, in which some are the resourcefully rich countries of the world who are being in the OIC and have the lion's share in the world's energy sector as well. Named as the Organization of Islamic Cooperation OIC, this body officially registered itself in 1969. It's just a brief history I'm telling you about. And there was a meeting called under the late Saudi King Faisal with the representative of almost 27 of Muslim countries in the Moroccan capital, Rabat. Signed and performed to preserve the Islamic values or the Sunnah interstate solidarity and prosperity, safeguarding the economic and cultural heritage. Let me tell you that those members vowed to empower the fellow Muslim states while playing their role in the international community. Since then, the OIC has had 12 conferences, along with 3 being the most extraordinary summits, and my prediction is that this summit will also be the extraordinary and important. Let me tell you that the symbol of OIC's presence in Pakistan still stands tall amidst the Charing Cross in Lahore. Late King Faisal and his Pakistani counterpart Bhutto were perhaps the only 2 visionaries that they have seen that OIC ever had. Their commitment and suggestions to work for the betterment of the Islamic world seemed very idealistic, but had both lived a little longer, the OIC members would have been significant players internationally. Apart from that, ironically, they are not at the moment. The two, along with Muammar Gaddafi, went on to suggest to a standard monetary system for Muslim countries, but eventually and making the trade and other dealings easier, whilst making the West gradually accept one currency. Now, if we take into the consideration that there was a Kashmir and Palestine, they considered the matter of heart by the OIC. All of these ideas, however, are now in the grave, and the implication of disregarding those ideas speak as a proof. So that was a very brief history about the Islamic world, and now Islamic World Organization. And now the Turkey has been called upon because there is a mass killing in Gaza, which has been followed in the previous weekend, and more than 100 Palestinian protesters have been martyred by the cross-border Israeli army gunfire. And as we have seen what happened in the Gaza on the Monday, it coincide with the Israel's 70th anniversary, and there were the rallies ongoing with the protestants of the Palestinians, an event that Palestinians referred to as the Nakba, or the, you can say it if you go towards the literal meaning, it is known as the catastrophe, and the relocation of the United States embassy to Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Now let me tell you that after all, Turkey as the term president has announced its decision to organize an extraordinary summit of the Organization of the Islamic Conference OIC on Jerusalem after the opening of the United States Embassy in the city that claimed the lives of dozens of Palestinian protesters. Turkey has decided to call the OIC to an extraordinary meeting today on the 18th of April. And let me tell you that I want to analyze the whole role of Turkey in the Muslim world. Turkey strongly condemned the US for opening the embassy in Jerusalem and Israel for committing a massacre against the Palestinian protests back in 2017 when the Trump decided to move the embassy to the Jerusalem. Now, Turkey called its invite to Washington DC and Tel Aviv for the consultations too. But serving as the OIC term president, Turkey had initiated a conference, and it already been initiated a conference back in December 2017 where they put a bid to protest the US decision to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem in violation of the relevant United Nations Security Council's resolution. And the main figure in this whole fiasco, in this whole regard, the President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, also held a phone conversation with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas on later May 14 in order to discuss the recent developments coming in the region. State-run, another law agency that was being a very big media outlet for the Turkey, that reported that Erdogan would hold also the other phone conversations with the most other leaders, Muslim leaders, including the United Nations Security General Antonio Guterres. Well, coming back to the Prime Minister of the Turkey, Yildirim, he also made contact with the Libya's Fayez al-Sarraj, the Nigerian Prime Minister Birji Rafini, and his Iraqi counterpart Haider al-Abidi to invite them to the emergence of the OIC summit, which is going to be held in Istanbul today. Like, they are gathering up the whole Muslim world. What's the reason behind gathering up the whole Muslim world? It's the basic interest of the Turkey to lead the Muslim world, or there are something else. There are the motives to lead the Muslim world. We would analyze the whole situation in our program, and let me tell you about the Prime Minister of the Turkey, that he also invited the Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina Wajid and the Morocco Saddin Ottomani, and last but not the least, the Pakistan's Premier Shahid Haqqan Abbasi and Abdullah bin Nasir Insani from the Qatar, and the Algeria's Ahmed Ohia Al, and other all premiers to join the summit meeting. Viewers, now only the Istanbul summit meeting called for by Turkish President Recep Erdogan is expected to send a very strong message against the Israeli violence that martyred, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, at least 62 Palestinians, the youngest of whom was 8 months old during mass rallies, as I've told you, that been taken on the Gaza eastern border in the start of the program. Now, the rational mind arose the question that why the Palestinian people can't be rescued by the military Islamic alliance. Like, on one hand, we are having the OIC meeting, which is a very political. But on the other hand, we have a very military might. The Islamic world is having a very big military might and are having a very big Islamic alliance. So why they are not pushing it? Why they are not pushing the Islamic military alliance to go and rescue the Palestinians? Look, in the whole Middle East, this whole Islamic alliance, but it is yet not able to rescue the Palestinians. So let me tell you that what about the Islamic military alliance? So you can have the idea about the Islamic military alliance. The Islamic military alliance is an alliance of 34 countries that have decided to fight against the terrorism while united. The alliance is formed to fight against all armed groups and terror organizations which are involved in carrying out the heinous crimes against humanity in the various forms of terrorisms. The countries with larger and established armies, like for instance Pakistan, Egypt and Turkey, as well as war-torn countries like Libya and Yemen, are also the part of this counter-terrorism alliance. And in addition to this, the African countries which are massively affected by the militant attacks such as Chad, Mali, Somalia, and Nigeria are also contributing in this coalition. But despite having the common enemy in the Islamic State of the Iraq and the Levant, which is known as the ISIL group, or you can say that ISIS, the Saudi Arab's regional rival Iran and its allies, Syria and Iraq, are not participating in this counter-terrorism alliance. Why? Because the Iran and Saudi religious and regional rivalry is not the part of the Saudi-led military alliance alongside the Iraq and Syria. Now, the omission of Shia majority countries like Iran and Iraq from the military alliance gives the impression of the military alliance as Sunni alliance. So I'll rather call it a very Sunni alliance because there's a no Shia alliance or no Shia sentiments being involved in that Muslim alliance, or that it's just a tactic to contain Iran. For me, this whole alliance is just mere a tactic or mere just a move to contain Iran. And interestingly, in this regard, let me tell you that what Brigadier General Ahmad al-Asiri, who is the advisor of the Saudi Defense Minister's office and spokesman of the Arab Coalition for Yemen's peace, said that in order to Iran to become the part of the military alliance, it must stop supporting terrorism abroad that threatening Arab and Muslim countries. Meaning to say that the Saudi Arab is of the view that they are still accusing that Iran is sponsoring the terrorism in all of the Muslim world and in the whole region. Apart from that, we have a very important issues on the plate. We have the issues that the United States of America is moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, but still they are accusing one and each other that you are containing Iran, you are making a Sunni alliance against, you are doing only the terrorism activities, but still they are not on the one board. So mean to say, overall, in a very holistic approach, that this mega alliance is just meant for ulterior motives of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Because if the real essence of this alliance is to serve and save the concept of Ummah, it would have intervened. It would have intervened in Palestine, let me get very honest to you. But we all know that KSA and Israel are having backdoor relations, plus the KSA presumes that Iran is the biggest threat in the region rather than Israel. In reality, the collisions, lack of movement, this whole alliance lack the operational mechanism or the clear framework in the month since its announcement demonstrate that it does not present a very serious alternative to the joint Arab forces. Most member states declared that they did not intend to furnish soldiers for the combat, but were willing to offer intelligence corporations. So, if all of these Muslim states are serious to sort out the issues of Ummah and Muslim countries, they have to address the issues I've just said. Now coming back to the role of Turkey, it is very clear that it is leading the Muslim world, and on contrary, it is valuable for Western democracies too. It is also felt by many countries in the European Union which once believed that Turkey would act in accordance with the EU's universal criteria of democracy and human rights. The Turkey does not aspire to be a model for the Islamic world, though it aspires to be its leader. A duty which includes safeguarding the interest of the nearly 20 million Muslims living in Europe and all the Muslims living on this world. In Erdogan's view, if we analyze the Erdogan's view regarding to the European communities, regarding to the Western allies, in his view, it is like just that EU which must accommodate itself to Turkey, not the vice versa. But both sides have suffered disappointment because yet the Turkey could not become the member of the European Union. Turkey, at the thwarting of its own pan-Islamism ambitions, and the West at Turkey's failure to realize that its democratic potential is quite high. Yet the West and the Turkey still need each other. It's the equation which will be only balanced when the Turkeys will show some willingness and the Western communities and the European Union communities are yet accepted that the Turkey is bending on their rules and they will inculcate the Turkey in the European Union. As a NATO country situated amidst the turmoil of the Middle East, Turkey is invaluable to the Western world, and we don't doubt about that thing. And Turkey cannot do without the West. Turkey just cannot do anything without the West because it's propping up its own economy and it's on the very crossroads of the Europe. Now, in the overall, if we just go towards the sectarianism which has been revolved in the region, and if we just go towards the mega insurgencies going into the Middle East, we get to know that Turkey has apparently crossed all the thresholds. Turkey is still maintaining the equilibrium. Turkey is just maintaining to gather up the whole Muslim world. And in order just to release the embassy from the Jerusalem, it's just want to gather up all the Muslim states and want to give a very strong message to the Western democracies that the Muslim world is having only one agenda, on, and it's very clear on the issue of the Palestine. And when it comes to the when it comes to the matter of Kashmir, it's also very clear that we have the not very clear, they don't have any ambiguities about the Palestinian issues, they don't have the ambiguities about the Kashmir issues. The Muslim world is very certain that the Palestinian land has been occupied by the Israelis, the Kashmir land has been occupied by the Indians. So OIC signals that overall in holistic approach, it signals that they are very clear on their agenda. The Muslim world is on one plate on these two issues, and OIC is the symbol that they deny all the accusations, all the regarding the issues of Israel and Palestine, all the issues regarding the Indians and the Kashmiris, that they are very certain that they should get freedom, they should get away from their oppressors. And Tayyip Erdogan is currently leading the spearhead of the Muslim world, as the case is having some other motives, it's going towards the modernization. So the Turkey is currently now acting as the acting leader of the Muslim world, and we will see that how the situation will get, because today it is the OIC summit, and we will see that what achievement will be done in that summit. That's it for today. We'll see you in the next week. Take care of yourself. Have a good day. Bye-bye.